my game history, which was a course and exhibition here in the end. And first, a little bit about me. I was a student back then when we made this exhibition, but now I have graduated. Yes, I'm a Master of Arts, majoring in philosophy, and now doing my PhD in game studies about Pokemon Go and memorable game experiences. And here, I have been a player maybe all my life, but sometimes I played a little less, sometimes a bit more. And here's a picture of me, maybe from the start of my playing career. But my mother said that they didn't actually put any money to this machine, but, so I'm not maybe really playing, but still I'm quite focused here. And then about the course. The course, my game history, was organized in the University of Tampere in 2017 and 2018, led by Elina Koskinen, and I was in this 2018 batch. So we had 13 students in each course, so in total we had 26 game histories, which were also published in an exhibition catalog. I can maybe circling it. There you go. And yeah, we had 2 different exhibitions in the end in Finnish Museum of Games. And a little bit about the process. This is the process of the one I participated in. So the course started in November 2017, and in like 2 months we had the exhibition ready. So it was quite intensive time, and the exhibition was open like 2 months. And the first task we got on the course was to write 1,000 words of my game history, and I think in the beginning I wrote more than 1,000 words, so I had to cut it down for the course. And the next class's homework was to write your game history in 1,000 characters, so it was super difficult because I had problems in even writing the 1,000, cutting to the 1,000 words. So here's how it kind of felt. When I had 1,000 words, I could talk about all these things, like how I played 200 hours of Pokemon Crystal, and the last time when I tried to play it, the game thing had run out of battery, so my save was lost. That might have happened to some other people too. And in the 1,000 words version, I could talk about Alias and how it's my favorite board game and the reasons for that. And also I'd like to mention Candy Crush Saga here, because I didn't actually write about it at all, and my teacher Anna Katsapultimo was asking me, Elina, why didn't you do that? Because she knows that I played it quite a lot, and in level 2,000 or something. But somehow I felt it's not as important or memorable for me as these other things, and maybe that's kind of interesting because I have spent a lot of time with that. But yeah, I had 1,000 words, and then I had 1,000 characters, but fortunately we also had 2 smaller texts that we could write, about 500 characters, and we had also a photo and 2 items in the exhibition, and we were allowed to collect like 5.5 minutes of sound, which made it easier to present all these things that I wanted to tell about my game history. Especially the sound helped a lot because I was able to include like Unreal Tournaments, the beginning music that I liked a lot, and some sayings from my favorite character in Crash Team Racing, Coco, and my favorite, maybe all-time favorite song of video games, Jazz Jackrabbit's Tube Electric. And I think I ended my something with Mass Effect's Shepard's I Should Go line. So yeah, we managed to fit quite many things in this exhibition, even though the character limit was quite small. And here's an example of one of the smaller texts. So this was 500 characters in Finnish at least. Our parents came up with different rules and to restrict our playing. We were allowed to play only 1 hour per day. This rule was regulated with an egg timer, many of which were broken throughout the years. We were not allowed to play before we spent 1 hour outside. I sometimes stood still outside in wintertime and waited for the hour to pass by. I don't know if I did this regularly, but I just have this very vivid memory of one time that I did it, and like I'm standing here and maybe trying to make a statement to my parents, like, like, why do you make me do this? I just want to play. When I sometimes wasn't able to play daily, I started to keep book of how many play hours I have saved, so I could use them later. But soon it turned out that you couldn't save up playtime according to my parents. So we had all these rules we tried to fight with my brothers. This was the photo I chose for the exhibition. It's a like kind of video game level made of Legos, made by my brother. He did this a lot for me and my other brother. So and this was he was especially proud of this, so he took a lot of pictures of this. And we played these through, like I think this was our game character. So we started from here and proceeded from there. And here are my two items that I chose for the exhibition. The first one is not kind of, well, maybe codes, but it's something that we needed to be able to play Commander Keen 6, Aliens Ate My Babysitter. Because you had to, before you could play the full game, you had to, for some reason, type the name of the monster that was in the game. So I think my mother or father asked one of their co-workers to print these codes for us so we could play the game. And yeah, it was very much used. You can see ketchup here and some notes. And then we also had this PC game book that we read so much that it's almost like broken. And it had also a game CD, so we played also those games. Then about building the exhibition. So the exhibition looked something like this, or it looked, one wall looked like this. So each of us had 7 of these plates, like one telling our name and when we were born and where we lived as a kid. And then we had the small game history text, the 1,000 characters text, and then we have these two other smaller texts, 500 characters, and then the pictures of the items and the photo we have chosen. And we also had the items there on display. You can see my PC game book, and I think my cheat codes are there. And we also were exhibition artifacts. So I spent 2 days in the exhibition. Kind of display that this is my history, and I was we were supposed to like try to talk to the customers of the museum that please tell me about your game histories and something like that, but that was quite difficult and awkward. But we did our best. It's also the exhibition space is quite small, so when we were there it was easier to take contact to other people. But I felt at least that after that they didn't maybe spend too much time there. That they didn't concentrate on reading those things after that because we were there kind of staring at them or something. So maybe it didn't work out like we had planned. But yeah, it was still super nice to spend 2 whole days in the museum, and I finally got to read like through everything in the game museum. And the exhibition visited several places after it was in the Finnish Game Museum, some other museums and libraries. And yeah, the exhibition catalog is going somewhere here, and you can also get it for free on the internet, unfortunately only in Finnish. And yeah, the last thing I want to talk about, like what was the message of this exhibition? What did we want to say with this exhibition? So, each of us have our own valuable game histories. Games are part of our everyday lives, hence they are part of culture. And in the exhibition you could see how does playing feel to some of us, what is meaningful in play to some of us, and who do we play with. And you could also see how game history is shaped throughout from childhood to adulthood. And maybe the most important point and why this exhibition was so special was that by concentrating on experiencing these games and how they are truly personal, this exhibition challenges these more common game histories that concentrate on equipments and titles and genres. So I'd like to end with that thought. Thank you. Questions?
We have time for questions, anybody?
So, like, people who answered the question about what was their What was their first attitude when asking the question?
Maybe I didn't like straightforwardly ask like what is your game history, but somehow tried to small talk. And I think people found from the items in the museum some things that were reminding them of their youth. I think many people, these are go-go's. That picture is a bit bad, but many people were saying that yes, I had those also as a kid. And like I think it was easier to connect with the things that they were mentioned there or were on display there.
Sorry if I missed, but this is 5.5.
Yeah, sorry, I forgot to mention. Yes, we had an old school CD player there. So we burned CD with our tracks there.
It's quite nice because it's so little
Yeah, but you couldn't actually connect whose music it was because it was just we didn't say in the beginning, this is me.
Was there any copyright?
We asked from Teosto and they said it's okay.
Like Teosto for all those games?
I'm not sure, I wasn't the one responsible for that, so I don't know.
Okay, any more questions?
Do you think that this sort of approach of doing it would be something that you can sort of outsource or serialize or scale? Like how much do you need it to have specifically educated game students, teachers? Like how much of that is sort of support structure or scaffolding is required, and how much of that is standalone and happen?
You mean if we could just ask in the internet people to send these things? I guess it could work, but then do you know if it's how real is it or is someone trolling or? But yeah, I think you could do it.
Yeah, I could continue on that. I think that's a good question and something that, because the exhibition was so good and we had so nice experiences of it at the Finnish Museum Games, that sort of also made us think a lot about how we should build collections around play and player stories more than collections around games and game making. So it would be nice to see a whole exhibition, a big exhibition, like hundreds of square meters, only of stories that players have. That kind of. Do you have any ideas on that? Would you go to a museum like that?
I would, I think. Yes.
Related kind of question or comment on that. Was there any diversity in the background of people displayed here? Because it would be very nice to see how the histories change when you come from a different country, when you're a different age and stuff like that.
Yeah, well, we were all Finnish university students, and the age range probably wasn't like huge because we were all students. But yeah, when I was applying for this course, because it was something you applied for, it was said that they tried to choose students with very varied backgrounds to represent like a lot of different backgrounds. But I think in the end, maybe there wasn't so many applicants. I don't know if like anyone had to be left out, at least from my batch. I'm not sure.
Related question was, I did a project online where I presented stories about game history, and I noticed that it's kind of related to the topic that was discussed, whether the online survey might be possible. I noticed that people are more active of answering or telling their story when the other stories are heard. You know, like once you say, oh, like in Finland, this was the same story, and then somebody in Czech Republic, somebody in way different countries like Europe, made a comment that, hey, like in our country, like this thing, something like that kind of happened. And I also remember I did the same thing when I went to business school. And I was before, like, I never played this, but I played this in Korea. So I thought that was a very ideas of expanding this project? What's the ongoing idea for this?
I haven't thought of it because I was a student in this course, so I didn't really thought like further past that.
Yeah, maybe from the museum side, this is something that we want to work with more in the future. I don't know, have any concrete plans at the moment, but probably when sometime we in the future we renew the whole exhibition of the Finnish Museum Games, player stories are going to be more central to it. Probably. Okay, we still have time for questions, Patrick.
I think this diversity question is also a little bit around together. So I think that if, like, by doing this in a controlled setup with teachers, try to diversify, you can do something about it. If you would set it free, you would get an insane self-selection bias. Right? So you would get, again, people who love it, who go to this thing, you would probably not get people to tell you the story of, well, I really like video games, but then my brothers took over a console and I stopped. You know, which is just, that's a story that I would think would be super important, but you'll never get it. Right? So it's,
Yeah. As I said in the application process, Anna-Kaisa and Jaakko had written like even if you just play Mörkky in summers and you want to discuss that Swedish game, like yard game, you should definitely like apply to this course because we are interested in that aspect.
Okay. One last question, or is it time for a break? Seems to be time for a break. So, thank you again. Maybe some quick notes here. We have some of these